Thank you all so much for joining us this morning. I'm really excited about this topic, practical life. It's one of the cornerstones of Montessori philosophy and curriculum. And it's not only just in the classroom, but also at home. And I'm very happy that Caitlin is going to be presenting this morning. She is a longtime educator in Montessori, both for Park West and Twin Park schools, but also she's a teacher trainer for CME for many years. So we're very appreciative for being here, and I guess take it away, Caitlin.
Thank you, Susan. So yes, my name is Caitlin Jalalit. So I'm going to be presenting a little bit about our practical life curriculum. We use it in all the classrooms from infant all the way through 3 to 6 and beyond, as well as using it in the home. I'm a mother of 4 children also, so I use this all in my own home also. It is a much bigger curriculum area, but I'm just going to give you a little overview and hopefully explain some of the beautiful items you see in our Montessori classrooms. A lot of times it looks so beautiful on the shelf, but we really don't know what the purpose of those activities are. It just looks nice. So we're going to talk about practical life. Everything in the Montessori environment has a purpose. Oh, let me see, my slides are not going ahead. Okay. So what does practical life mean? Practical life activities are purposeful tasks that we use in everyday life. Some typical examples are sweeping, dusting, food preparation. Practical life activities are culture specific and provide children with the opportunity to develop a sense of being and belonging by participating in activities of daily life. The purpose and aim of practical life exercises is to help children develop coordination of movement, gain independence, adapt to their society, and develop the ability to concentrate. Through repetition of practical life activities, children learn to develop their gross and fine motor skills, problem solve effectively, and establish a strong sense of self by actively contributing to their world. Children are able to develop their ability to concentrate because they're interested in the activities. For example, wiping the table. They want to repeat the activity that they see the adult in their environment doing until they feel like they can complete it. Each time they do it, the task becomes easier for them and they develop their skills. You're able to witness children have greater success and see the enjoyment and pride they hold as they do this. These tasks are intrinsically motivated. Children do them because they want to be successful and a contributing member of the community or part of their family. This results in the pride and the self-worth that they are developing, their self-confidence when they're allowed to do these opportunities. So practical life in infants. Even our youngest children are starting to pick up information that will later be needed to gain the independence and confidence. They're learning the language and words for things in their environment, observing adults carrying out tasks and care, helping to feed them, doing the diapering them. They are a part of it. They develop trust in their world, so they'll be ready to participate in these tasks as they get older. While supported by adults caring for them, infants learn to do such things as washing their hands, drinking from an open cup, using utensils, and even the start of toileting. While these tasks are fully supported in infants, they're learning as much as they're able to through the steps that you go through with each procedure. They're learning the language, the order, and slowly over time, as they develop the coordination to be able to participate, they will start to do it. You'll see them try on their own to grab for the spoon and bring it to their mouth. Practical life in the toddler rooms. Starting around 18 months or 15 to 18 months is a period of immense effort and constructive work. Children are developing coordination of the whole body. Children need to repeat activities to coordinate all their body and muscle movements. This first starts with tasks that when adults see it, seem meaningless. You may see them walking around, walking up and down stairs, pushing heavy objects around the room, sometimes rearranging the furniture, climbing in and out of a chair. They can do They do these and they seem almost meaningless to us or purposeless, but it really are, they're the movements into more practical work. They seek this naturally and look to adults for what they want to imitate and learn to do. These practical life activities are things they see adults in their life doing on a daily basis. They first learn from observing from birth, and then they have the inner drive to attempt it on their own as their coordination develops. You'll see such items as brushing their teeth. All of a sudden, they will want to grab and hold onto that toothbrush themselves. In early childhood, as children are able to participate in these daily tasks, they're now ready for greater refinement of their skills. They continue to participate and observe the adults around them in these practical life activities. In the Montessori environment, we now add additional materials and activities to the shelves that help further develop and refine these skills. So prior to early childhood, the practical life activities are more in the moment as they're doing it, putting on a coat to go outside, and they learn to zipper, pouring water so that they can drink it at the table. As we move into the early childhood classroom, and we're refining the skills even more, you'll see more activities on the shelf that have, pouring. So pouring from a pitcher to smaller containers, items like that. In the early childhood, we do separate some areas of practical life. Some of the areas are care of self, which are the personal care items, washing hands, getting dressed. Care for the environment. Some examples are watering plants, washing a table, arranging flowers. The grace and courtesy are the skills associated with social interactions, such as greetings, introducing yourself, how to appropriately interrupt others. And then we also have the control of movement, which is focused on teaching children to refine and coordinate control of their bodies. We have activities you might have heard, such as walking on the line and the silence game. So what does this mean for the home, or how can we help do this in the home also? The most important things are preparing your home. Always the first thing we look at is safety. So we want to make a safe environment for the children so that they can have independence. How can we make things easiest for children to do as independently as possible? A sense of order. So we have the steps for children to follow. They know where to find things and where to put things away. We want to keep it visually simple so that they're not overwhelmed or overstimulated, so they can focus on the task they're trying to accomplish, and always start small. So care of the environment in the home. Children, here's an example we can see. So children can see where things belong by keeping it simple and uncluttered. Encourage toddlers to put toys away by assisting. You can say, can you show me where this goes? If they say no, or they walk away, which happens a lot for children, then you can say, let's put it away together. Let's do it together. In the beginning, they will need support while doing it. But then as you see you do it a few times, then you can say, can you show me where it goes? Or can you please put that, return it to the shelf? And they will start to do it on their own. Start small and add as you feel comfortable. You don't need to do all these items. You do what works for your family and your home. Finding child-sized equipment like a broom or a rake, you can bring it to Central Park and rake leaves. Having towels easily accessible so children know where to find them, and then allowing them to help you wipe a spill on the table. Children learn naturally. They observe first, then they support adults with tasks, helping out with some steps. Then when they feel they can do it, they'll try on their own. This often happens when a parent or a teacher is busy helping or assisting somewhere else, and they realize, I know where that towel is. I can go get that myself and wipe the spill on the floor. They practice, they work at it until they have success. That doesn't mean the first time they wipe a spill, they wipe it up completely and perfectly, but they practice, and over time, it gets better and better till they have that success and they see, wow, I did it myself. They take pride in their accomplishment, and when they're ready to move on to new skills, once they do it, they can move on to new skills, or they may be ready for more steps in the process. Food preparation is a great area that you can do at home also. Some simple things to start with. You can have a blunt, like a butter knife or a spreading knife at home, and allow them to use it and experience it. Show them how to hold it. Using a rolling pin, slicing, fruits are a good way to start. Bananas, hard-boiled eggs, something that they might be having for lunch. Spreading peanut butter, honey, cream cheese. Stirring, helping cook a meal at dinner time or on the weekend, stirring the batter. Peeling vegetables, they make great peelers that you can use your whole hand to hold on to, and peel carrots, cucumbers. Toddlers, 2 to 2.5-year-olds can start learning how to do these activities. Care of self. Some items such as washing hands and face, blowing the nose, using a napkin, dressing and undressing, having loose fitting clothes for your child, especially as they're younger, to help. You'll see even young children, 9 months, will try to help grab it, and they'll put their arm out so that they can put their arm into the sleeve or want to pull it over their heads. As children learn to dress themselves and develop their fine motor skills, they become more interested in items such as the buttoning, the snapping, the zipping. Remember, for the younger child, if you can have less of these additional pieces so they can be successful in putting on their own pants, elastic waisted pants, and then as you see their fine motor is developing more and they can do it on their own, then they can try doing, clothes, and they want to do their own buttons on their shirts or their pants. Combing and brushing hair, toilet learning are great ways, that we start. We do this in the classroom as well as you can do it at home. Some ideas to help out, just to make it more accommodating to children at home, are providing items, just a 2-step stool in the bathroom so that they can reach the faucet to wash their hands or brush their teeth, a mirror at their level so that they can see themselves as they're going through the steps. And then as you can see in the picture, we just have, this is in a family's home. They have everything laid out so the child helps with their own diapering. They know where to find their diaper, where to find the cream, their wipes. So they help out with each process of it. Now I'd like to take some time. I kind of put some items out there, but I wanted to leave time for everyone to be able to ask questions, or if they want specifics for their own home, how they can incorporate it. So I'm going to stop the screen share so we can chat if anybody has any questions or wants to talk about that. It was a lot of information to think about, but I want to be here for you with any questions you may have.
I had a question about what do you do once they are capable of doing something and then they sort of lose interest in it and still want you to do it because it's just not interesting to them anymore,
Yes.
although you know they can do it.
Yep, it's very common, because once they're interested in it and then once they're like, oh, I've mastered this, I need something different. So you can say, there are two parts to this. The first part is that you may want to add more steps to it or make it more challenging for them. Or it may be, sometimes some children will also stop doing it when they need the emotional support. So something maybe they've always been getting dressed, since they were 2.5, they could dress themselves. And all of a sudden you have a 4.5-year-old and they want help getting dressed again. It doesn't mean they can't do it, but that's their way of asking. Something inside doesn't feel right. They may need comforting and emotional support for that time. It usually doesn't last, long term, but they may be feeling a little, like they need a hug. They don't know how to ask for that or how to ask for their emotional needs to be filled. So you can assist them at that point. You don't want to do it for them completely, but offering some tips or say, let's do it together. Or can you do the first part and I'll help you finish? So you never want to do it completely for them, but do know that sometimes that's when children are asking for help with something they can do, they're really asking for emotional support, not the physical help.
Thank you. That makes a lot of sense.
Does anybody else have any questions?
Natalia,
comment.
do you have a question?
I specifically was going to ask about the exact moment where, you know, like I know I can do it, but one phrase she's really latched onto is, "It would be nice if you could help me," or would be nice if you could do it with me." And so like that seems to me like one of those perfect like emotional support. I don't want to do it for her. And so as long as it says like what you're saying, it sounds like is like if I say like I'll do one shoe with you, you do the other one, or some version where she's not completely sitting there like a doll getting dressed.
Yeah, sometimes, especially for the shoes, that's a common one too. Especially for some reason, we see it a lot in the winter too. All of a sudden, getting out the door. Sometimes it just is, you know, it's hard. Just like adults, children have those rough mornings or times of day. So they need a little bit more time to do it too, and they just need you sometimes really just sitting with them. I do that many times with my children still in the morning. Even my 12-year-old still sometimes he just wants me sitting, you know, near him in the doorway so he can put on his shoes and, you know, have a little conversation. That's like a bonding time. So that's through, you know, you see that even as teenagers, they find their moments when they need just a little bit more time with you in that way. And often it's more the talking or the hug or the, you know, putting your hand on their shoulder to make them feel better in the moment. And they'll get through it. And then, you know, a day or two later, they'll be doing their own shoes again. And it's not really about the skill.
Awesome. That was really helpful because I'm always sitting there. I'm like, well, don't do for them what they can do for themselves. But she's doing like, it'd be nice if, and I'm just doing the math. And it's like, okay, so it's like offer to sit with, hand on the shoulder, and use just like, and just accept that it's an emotional thing and not like has she regressed in shoe tying? Like, am I doing a bad thing? Cool.
Yeah, or even putting your shoes on next to her, or next to your child. You know, okay, well, why don't you put on your shoes and I'll sit right next to you and put on my shoes. It's really the time together, oftentimes.
That's really helpful and timely because it happened right around fall as well. Just as soon as it was chilly, I was like, that's it. Thank you.
It is. I don't know. It's, you know, I get that from a lot of parents and I see it in my own children. It's a changing weather and I think it's getting, you know, cooler out. It's a little darker when you wake up in the morning. I think these just, you know, it affects your body and children feel all these changes also. When you're rushed in the morning, that's a common time too. It's the hardest for parents because if you are running a little late, you're more rushed. So you want to get things done faster. And that's a child's way of saying, this is too fast for me. I need to slow down. They don't know how to verbalize those emotions yet.
A couple things in the chat. What about when they think that it's funny doing things? Can you explain that a little bit more? That question?
Yeah, for example, when you're trying to do something for kids, for example, a butter or something, and when they stirring, something fell, and they try to make it in funny way, like they don't want to do the way that it should be done, but it's funny for them to play around that.
I mean, it could be, children are also learning their sense of humor and what's funny and not. So it could be that they're kind of, you know, trying to get a reaction from you. Is this funny? And they're testing out humor. That is from, you know, toddlers on, they're seeing humor and funny things, and how other people react to it. So it's possible that that's why, you know, they want to see, is this funny? And what kind of reaction do I get from, you know, mom or dad?
Yeah, gotcha. Thank you.
If we have two kids, and sometimes the older one likes to turn everything into a competition, and you know, obviously she always wins, and I'm worried that this is like demoralizing for the younger one. Do you have any advice about that?
Good question. I mean, I'm trying to think from a parent perspective, because I see it in my own children sometimes. I mean, I talk to my older children about, you know, understanding that they are older and they've had more time to develop their skills. So of course, at this point, you know, they've had more time, but as an older sibling, it's a great, you know, you have this great opportunity to show your younger sibling how to do it, how to become stronger in activity, how to, you know, manipulate something or learn how to, you know, tie their shoe. So just, I think really just being honest with them and talking them through it and having them understand the other child's perspective. And when they were younger, a lot of things were challenging for them too. And you just keep on working at it. And you get stronger and you get better at it. And just reminding the older child also, a little competition isn't bad. So I think, you have to judge by how they're doing it. There's competition in the world. And for younger children, I think that's, if you have more than one child, you see that the younger child usually picks things up faster than the older, your first one did, because they're experiencing it at a younger age and they have time to try it and they want to do what they see their older siblings doing. So it's a way of learning. So it's not all bad. But if you see that it's coming to, your older child is giving them too hard of a time, then just talk them through it and explain, they're still developing skills. And look, you're 8 years old. You've had a lot more time to practice doing this. So you're really great at it. Why don't you help your younger sister or brother work on it? You could be a great teacher here.
I like it. I like that idea of like sort of positioning them as the teacher.
We have something else from the chat. How do you manage when a child talks and interrupts someone else?
Oh, when they interrupt? Yeah. So how we do it, especially in the environment, is we teach children to put your hand, when they want to speak, you put your hand, like if they're trying to get the adult's attention, you put your hand on their shoulder or another child's shoulder so that they know that you're waiting to speak to them. And that when you have the moment, then you'll turn and give them the attention to let them speak to you.
And then how can we address when they say no a lot for certain activities, like asking him to wash his hands, and he'd like to do that before, but now he's coming with no.
Yeah. Okay. So this is a very common one too. The first thing you want to look at is how you're phrasing it with the child. If it's something that's not a choice, such as washing hands before you eat, then don't ask them, can you go wash your hands? Instead, you phrase it, it's time to wash your hands. So it's not a choice. So it's great to give children choices when it's okay, or you can give them two choices that are reasonable. They can choose between choice A or choice B. But if it's a time I call it like the non-negotiables. This you have to do because it's a safety. We're trying to keep you healthy. So this is a time, it's not a question, but it is time to wash your hands now. And if you start, we do start this with,
quite useful.
Older infants. For older infants, and we speak in this way so that they know, because if they know, then every time we come in from outside, we're washing our hands. Every time before we eat a meal, we wash our hands or use the toilet. Times like that, then it becomes so routine that they don't say no. It is what it is. It's just part of your daily routine. And it's actually comforting because they know that that's what they're supposed to do. So if they're saying no, think about how you're saying it to them. And we do want to make sure, so those things that are non-negotiable, it is, and you say, this is what we're doing now. When there's time later in the day or at another moment, maybe it's picking out the outfit, and they don't want what you chose for them. If you're choosing their outfit, then you can give two choices of outfits. You can put two things out. Would you like the green shirt or the blue shirt? So that they're still given a choice, but it narrows it down so it's not as overwhelming as maybe a drawer of shirts to choose from. Does that answer your question?
As the seasons change, then, putting away everything, all the shorts at some point, and so that your choices are something that you can live with either way. I always found that out with my children, that when we had the seasons that changed, all of a sudden they would wear shorts in the middle of winter potentially. So it was good to kind of limit the choices so that they would be able to go ahead and have those choices, but they wouldn't be inappropriate ones.
I'll just say just to kind of dovetail on this, because I've been struggling with this too, as a new sort of Montessori parent, and I've been amazed at the power of just saying it matter-of-factly, like time to wash your hands, but still every once in a while, because I used to have the same thing where I would encounter, my son would basically just say, no, I'm not, I would be asking the question. If that happened, I would then try to introduce choice because I couldn't really backtrack. And so I'd be like, okay, do you want to wash your hands in this bathroom, in the bathroom or in the kitchen? And kind of pivot from there. So I think it's just taken me time over the last like month getting used to this. And that's one of those things that sometimes you do just have to kind of pivot. But the power of matter of fact is real. And I appreciate all of your guidance on that.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. And I think keeping a calm voice, I like the way you described that it's matter of fact. It's a calm voice. It's not something, that I'm angry at at you or anything like that. It's just calm. Let's do this and move on type of thing.
We have Leora has her hand raised.
Yes, good morning to everyone. I'm very glad I was part of this morning meeting. I learned few things that I thought I knew, but I kind of learned it in a better way right now. I just wanted to say something. I don't know if maybe it's a little bit out of the thing, but I have 3 kids. One is 6, Leora 4, and the other one is 2. I find it very hard to make 3 of them feel important the same way to me at the same time. They have this kind of thing, like if I'm talking to one of them, then the other one has to jump and say, what about me? Or the other one, what about me? Or if I'm hugging one, then the other one, me. Like, it's so hard for me to get them to understand that they are all important to me at the same amount, in the same way.
Yeah, I mean, I can share. I have 4 children and they are 2 years apart. So similar situation that you're in. And I think some of the things that I do with them, I do try to find a moment each day, a private time with each of them. So one, it may be in the morning. If one of my children wakes up earlier, I have some time with them before the others wake up, or at bedtime, I may have a little time. So I do try to find, that doesn't happen every single night. So, I'm not perfect, but I do try to find one-on-one time with each of them. When the others are busy, then I'll take one aside and kind of chat with them or snuggle with them and read a book. And then the other thing that you can use that's really helpful is, especially with your 6-year-old, they're great teachers and things like that. So they can help out. And I think they feel pride if you give them the opportunity to be the older sibling and look at a book with your younger sibling, or can you show her how to do this? Can you help her do this puzzle? Or the younger child, she's having a hard time. Maybe you can help her, show her how to do it. Because if the older child is given the opportunities to show what they know and their knowledge, they're also recognizing, wow, mom or dad, they really believe in me. They know I can do this. So it's giving them that feedback in this, by allowing them to do more and help out around the home. But it is tough. It is it's a tough thing that I think all parents.
Thank you so much. I'll try these a little bit more often. Thank you so much.
Any other questions? Any other topics?
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, Caitlin. And if anyone else has any parenting topics that they would like addressed for a later professional or parent education series, let me know, because we'd love to be able to address anything that's going on with parenting and to be able to support you. So thanks everyone for coming, and we'll look forward to seeing you again soon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.